The Anabaptist Kingdom of Munster was a short-lived and controversial episode in the history of the Protestant Reformation. It took place in the city of Munster, located in what is now modern-day Germany, from 1534 to 1535. The Anabaptists, a radical Christian sect that emerged during the Reformation, seized control of the city and established a theocratic regime. The events that unfolded during this period have been the subject of much debate and have left a lasting impact on the history of religious movements. The Anabaptist movement emerged as a response to the Protestant Reformation led by Martin Luther. Anabaptists rejected the notion of infant baptism and instead advocated for adult baptism based on a personal confession of faith. They believed in the separation of church and state and promoted the idea of a voluntary, committed Christian community. These beliefs were seen as radical and subversive by both the Catholic Church and the established Protestant authorities. In 1534, a group of Anabaptists led by Jan Matthys and Jan van Leiden arrived in Munster. The city was in a state of political and religious turmoil, and the Anabaptists managed to gain support from some of the disaffected inhabitants. They quickly took control of the city and declared it the New Jerusalem, proclaiming the imminent return of Christ and the establishment of a millennial kingdom. Under the rule of the Anabaptists, Munster underwent a radical transformation. Private property was abolished, and all goods were held in common. Polygamy was practiced, with multiple marriages being permitted. The leaders claimed to receive direct revelations from God and imposed a strict moral code on the citizens. Resistance to their rule was met with harsh punishments, including public executions. The events in Munster drew the attention of neighboring powers, both Catholic and Protestant. A coalition of forces was eventually assembled to retake the city and suppress the Anabaptist Uprising. In June 1535, after a lengthy siege, Munster fell and the leaders of the Anabaptist regime were captured and executed. You can still see the cages where the leaders rotted to this day. The city was restored to Catholic rule, and Anabaptism was suppressed. The Anabaptist Kingdom of Munster has been a subject of intense historical debate. Critics often point to the excesses and radicalism of the Anabaptist leaders as evidence of the dangers of religious fanaticism. The violence and chaos that ensued during their rule tarnished the reputation of the wider Anabaptist movement, leading to increased persecution of Anabaptists in other regions. However, it is important to remember that the events in Munster were not representative of Anabaptism as a whole. The vast majority of Anabaptists rejected violence and sought to live peaceful and faithful lives. The Kingdom of Munster was an extreme deviation from the principles of the movement and should not be seen as indicative of all Anabaptist beliefs and practices. The Anabaptist Kingdom of Munster remains a cautionary tale about the dangers of religious extremism and the potential for power to corrupt. It serves as a reminder of the complexities of religious movements and the challenges they face in a world of political and social upheaval. The events in Munster continue to be studied and debated, shedding light on the dynamics of religious radicalism and the enduring impact of the Reformation.